Okay, welcome back, everybody. I've got another training log for you. Starting out, real simple. Just gonna get right into it. Monday log press warm up. This is my last warm up here at 225. Log's been moving really well. Shoulder's been feeling a lot better since I've kind of adjusted my rack position and have been warming up better. So we jumped in here, top set at 230. Was looking for a set of 3. First rep, clean feels nice and easy, but you'll see I get just out in front of myself, which unfortunately I do on the second rep as well. Yes, you can see there, the press is fairly easy. I do have to work for it, but I just kind of get out in front of myself. I wanted that third one clean, but just couldn't quite catch my breath, and knew that if I would have gone for it, I definitely would not have got it. So I set it down, kind of took a couple breaths, and then came back and made sure I was going to smoke it. So bit of a cluster set, but got those 3 reps in at a 90-odd%. So bam, smoked that last one. Didn't have to step forward, didn't have to recover, just smoked it. So I was really happy about that. Drop back to some sleeveless volume here. We've got, I believe, 180. Yes, we got 180 for 2 sets of 6. Just getting comfortable overhead and trying to just drill that pattern. Obviously, as you saw in that top set, I was getting out in front of myself too much. So just trying to make sure that that pattern is drilled down, and I'm not wasting energy on my press by having to recover it. As I say that, I do it right there. But that's why we keep working on it. That's why we keep practicing and getting stronger. So these heavy pressing days are getting really good. I am going to have a heavy session tonight as of recording. So you'll have to wait and see how a heavy log turns out. But I'm not too sure what I want to put more focus on, whether it's going to be log or axle or like a push press from the rack. Still not sure what I want to do for competitions this year. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to keep doing log for now, as it's moving pretty well. And then we go over to my main accessory, which is these close grip, low incline presses. I've got 185 loaded, going for, I believe, 3 sets of 3. Or three sets of 5, excuse me. Again, yeah, nothing crazy. Just real simple, putting the work in. Not much touch on here. Just trying to build those triceps, build that lockout power. I've talked about it before. But I use my pressing accessories to build the triceps so that I can lock out my presses. And then I use my lower body days to help build the dip, which obviously has more carryover than just the log press, but it is an added benefit. So speaking of lower body days, we jump into Tuesday, and Tuesday is my kind of dynamic effort or volume lower days. So we're back on the hands-free, or no handles. So kind of just grabbing the pad there on the SSB to a low box versus bands. So this week I actually increased the band tension. I believe it was 80 pounds per side, whereas I believe it was 80 pounds total previously. So much heavier on the bands. So forcing me to have more control on the lowering of the weight and more force on the actual squat portion. So you can see there how much the bar is as I come out of the hole. That one is more controlled, poor example. But how the bar kind of snaps into the lockout, that's kind of what I'm focusing on. So see there, I kind of try to snap into the lockout. There I try to touch and go to see how it felt, and did not like it. But these are moving really well. I'm not able to push the weight on them too much, which I guess is a good thing because I have another max effort day or heavier lower body day scheduled on my Fridays. Um, but I would like to be able to move heavier weights more consistently for more volume. Obviously, if that is a upward trending pattern as far as weight and volume goes, that is always a positive. So then we move over to my top volume set on these. Take the bands off and move to 315. I believe I got 8 reps. I was gunning for 10, but they kind of just caught up to me. This day, all in all, was kind of meh. I was feeling super tired when I came in, but I find that if I can just get stuck in and get moving, you can kind of push that to the side, which is really hard for me, especially when I'm training at home or when I'm training. Period, because this is where I always train. Um, if I kind of get stuck in a loop of come in tired and I'm never able to kind of switch it on, then I kind of just mope around and half-ass a lot of my sets. But today was one of those days where I was able to flip the switch. So we got 405 on the axle, doing beltless paused reps. Was supposed to do 2 sets of 5, but I wanted to do one all-out heavy set, and we did that. And see, I'd take a big breath there to help relieve the back pump. But yeah, so that's one of the main things that I find hard, especially in the winter when you're coming in here and it's already pitch black, outside, and you're probably cold and you got the heater on, but you're not that warm. But those are all just mental things. I know my body's physically able to push past a lot of those things. I know what my body can do. I know what I want to achieve, not just as a whole, but just as the off season in general. I like to set a lot of mini goals to kind of keep that ball rolling. Um, so I'll just even set weekly goals. Like come in and I do all of my warm ups. Okay, I did all my warm ups, and then I can move that into I'm doing all of my accessories, and then I'm doing all of my finishing movements, and I'm doing all of my you know how the story goes. So those are all little things that help me kind of stay motivated and keep me progressing forward in the off season when you know I'm going to repeat myself when it's cold and it's dark and you're by yourself, but you're getting through the pain. So you saw those belt squats from Tuesday, and this is now my Thursday session. So I've got these. I call them simulated floor press. I've got the pins set up in at the height that my floor press would be, and I'm on the bench with my feet up, trying my best not to use them, and just using the upper body. So again, I use these because whenever I do a floor press, I can never get the right padding to where my scapula will retract correctly, and I just get crazy pain in my shoulder. So I believe that is what is that? 45, 65, 85, 185 loaded versus 60 pounds of chain. So fairly heavy bench for me at the top. You can see here I'm having to work pretty hard on the lockout, but that is the goal. And there's a stupid face. This was actually a super big set for me. So 175 is my new strict press PR, but this is 170 for 3. Well, I'd say 2.5. So that's 2 clean. Go up for the third, get stuck, little help from the calves, and lock it out. And yeah, that one almost took me out too. See here, I drop it. Try to make sure I got blood in the brain. And then I'm just showing these. I have these jammer arms that I got, and I've been using them mostly just for belt squats and other kind of random movements. So I want to try them out with a incline bench. They felt good in the mid range. At the very bottom, they felt kind of shitty, and then at very lockout, they felt pretty shitty. But in that mid range where I'm trying to stay and just pulse them out, they felt good. So definitely will be keeping those, and pretty good bump. So cannot complain about that one. Lastly, finisher for the excuse me, finisher for the day was these dumbbell cleans into some standing abs. So you can see these kind of look pretty ugly, or like they're not controlled, which I agree. But that is the goal with these. So I'm just trying to uh, maintain my upper back tightness through the whole rep. So I'm obviously getting a lot of contraction as the weight is up and I'm stopping it, but I'm also getting a lot when I'm trying to lower it under control. It may look like I'm just kind of throwing them down or flinging myself up, but I am controlling the weight both up and down. It's kind of one of the old, West Side things, as I had talked about previously with the rolling tricep extensions. That's another thing I like to use a lot, is those dumbbell cleans. And then last we had standing abs here, so fairly straightforward. And then we all know what follows Thursday. That is Friday. Friday, max effort lower day, my favorite day. Why, you may ask? Because we get to move big weights. So here we're going for a very heavy snatch grip deadlift. I've got 450 loaded in straight weight against about 80 pounds of chain. My previous best on snatch grip was, I think, 470 for 3, and that had been after training it for a number of weeks. So I was very happy to be at this number already, especially using the chain and kind of different leverages that I've adapted to. So let's let this play. So that took me out for about 15 to 20 odd minutes. Had to kind of just sit down and recoup for a bit. But we jumped back in with our front squats. The plan was sets of 5. Didn't really realize how fatigued I was from those deadlifts. So I have 320 loaded, and very quickly do I stall out, and I just get 3 reps. But all in all, I'm actually very happy with that looking back, because 320 when I'm pretty much gassed is a decent spot to be. So I'm really looking forward to be able to hit that 365 for a set of 3 to 5, potentially next week or the week after. Then I drop back to 285 here for a true set of 5, and it was not easier at all. It was still very hard, um, but that's okay. That's why we do front squats, because we get a lot of carryover, a lot of use out of less weight, forces us into positions that are familiar, uh, familiar for the sport of strongman. You're always going to have something in the front rack, whether it be to press, to carry, or to load. And then our row variation for the day was these deficit Penlay rows. It puts me in basically the exact same spot as a sandbag or stone or any other object would from the ground. So trying to use minimal leg drive, except near the end here when I'm just trying to get to my number, and really just pull hard off the floor using the lats and upper back. So stand out, shake it up, shake it off. Saturday is my events day, so it's kind of when I just train. Oh my gosh, excuse me. It's typically when I just train anything that I couldn't quite fit into the week. So this Saturday I was training a bunch of sandbag loads. I kind of just did, I can't remember, maybe 6 to 8 maybe sets of triples. So I kind of just threw some in here. This was my first set. It was really frustrating me because I did set the bar a little bit higher than usual, but it's only a 250 bag, and I really should be able to just throw this thing around. But it was kicking my ass, and there pretty much sums up my feelings for this stupid sandbag. But I did figure it out. I did figure it out eventually. But then I unfigured it out. So you guys will see that. But it's moving well. The thing I'm trying to work on the most is getting my hands more around the bag. I think before I was able to get away with going over top more so. But by going around the bag and trying to hold the bottom of it, I'm able to hold it higher on my chest so that when I extend, I'm already higher than I would be if I was just kind of hugging it into my sternum. So I'm trying to really work hard at keeping it, on top of my chest here. So I'm just gonna let these next few reps play out and stop yapping. So those moved okay. Definitely would like to get my hands on a 300-pound bag before I start cutting again to get comfortable with that. So then I dropped the yoke down and loaded up a whole bunch of weight. This is 665 for about 25 feet. Fairly slow, fairly controlled, but that was the goal. Obviously, I'm not trying to move weight fast right now, so I haven't been under yoke in a couple months. So that felt really good. I was happy with how where that's sitting. Then we jump over to a little bit of circus dumbbell. Again, not super heavy. I believe this is 125. So not super heavy. I think 3 sets of 3, just trying to get comfortable with the technique again. I felt the press was very easy. Um, holding that lockout was nothing challenging. But the clean actually felt pretty foreign. Not that it felt hard. It just the timing of the swing and trying to catch on the shoulder just felt somewhat off. So feeling good though, in a good spot. Okay, and that was all for last week's training. Again, just to wrap up, progressing really well on the log. 230 for a double plus a cluster single is, I think, the most I've ever done in kind of one set. So definitely looking to push PR. The plan was to do it today, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to pan out. But there's definitely a PR coming in the future, which there always is. But anyway, excited to push that. Squats are moving well as always. Upper body volume, not much to touch on there. Just got to keep putting the work in. There's definitely not like one specific spot I know I can keep working on. So when in doubt, just do more triceps, especially for strongman. If you've got strong legs and strong triceps, you're going to be a good presser. You're going to be good. You're going to be a good presser. So that's what we're talking about right now. But if you keep hammering your legs, it's going to carry over to a lot of other events. So that's why I'm trying to get a lot of volume in on my Tuesday sessions. I'm trying to really push those squats to really get a whole bunch of volume in so that my hips, my back, my quads, my hamstrings are all accustomed to long work periods and having to put more work in when they're tired. That's why I like to do my deadlifts after my squat volume on Tuesdays, because typically a strongman event is not going to be, easy event number 1, and then hard event number 2, and then 3 more easy events, and then you're done for the day. It's going to be like a moving event, and then you're going to have to do deadlifts, and then you're going to have to do yoke, and then you're going to have to push something over your head, and then you're going to have to do stones. That's kind of how the sport works. If you're watching this, I'm sure you know how the sport works. But you just got to kind of be used to putting a lot of work in when you're tired. That's why I'm trying to get better at doing more volume in my warm ups so that I'm not coming into every session completely fresh. I'm trying to get a little bit more accustomed to that. Typically, I'm better at that in the season when I'm prepping for a show in the off season. I'm trying to cut back on that a little bit so that I can be fresh and truly build rather than just kind of maintain where I'm at. I'm trying to stack those bricks, build that castle, and get better. Last thing I want to touch on was my deadlift. Those snatch grip moved really well. I was really excited to pull on Friday, so those moved really well. I was really excited. I believe I might have one more week of pulling against chains, and then I'm going to see where I'm at on a just regular stiff bar conventional deadlift. I have ordered something that might rhyme. I ordered a deadlift bar. I got a deadlift bar. I got the Rep Hades bar. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm really excited to pull on that. Careful. But really excited to try that out. Not sure how much it's going to help my deadlift more as it's just kind of be cool. And I'm just kind of yapping right now. Anyway, I have to get doing some more log press. So that is all I've got. So thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, comment if you'd like. And that's all. Thank you.